They're not choosing America anymore. From international students to global tourists, millions are bypassing the US and picking Canada instead. But why is this shift happening now? And what does it mean for America's future? We'll uncover the major reasons travelers, students, and investors are choosing Canada over the US, from safer cities and friendlier policies, to economic opportunities and changing global perception. By the end, you'll see why this shift could reshape North America's travel and economic balance for decades to come. The visa advantage. One of the clearest reasons for this shift lies in visas. For decades, the United States was the global magnet for workers, students, and tourists. But in recent years, the process of getting a US visa has become a nightmare. Months of waiting, unpredictable rejections, and rising costs. By contrast, Canada has positioned itself as the welcoming neighbor. Its visa approval rates for tourists and students are now 25% higher than the US. In 2024 alone, Canada issued over 1.1 million new study permits, while US approvals dropped by nearly 15%. For a family planning a trip or a student chasing their dream education, that difference is everything. This isn't just a bureaucratic issue, it's a global signal. Canada has built a reputation as a country that says yes when America increasingly says no. And in the world of travel and investment, perception shapes reality. Safety and global perception. Safety is one of the biggest deciding factors for travelers. Families, students, and business leaders don't just want an adventure, they want peace of mind. International safety indexes consistently rank Canada among the top 10 safest countries in the world. The US, meanwhile, has slid far lower. In a recent Gallup poll, 77% of international travelers said they felt safe in Canada, compared to just 49% in the United States. That's not just a statistic, it's a brand perception problem. For years, the American dream was a symbol of opportunity. Now, global audiences are seeing headlines about rising crime, political division, and gun violence. Meanwhile, Canada projects a calmer, friendlier, and safer image. The result? When parents decide where to send their children to study, or when families plan where to vacation, Canada increasingly wins that decision. Healthcare and travel costs. Travelers know that healthcare is one of the biggest hidden costs of visiting another country. In the United States, one hospital visit can spiral into thousands of dollars, even with insurance. Tourists are painfully aware of this risk, and so are insurance companies. That's why travel insurance premiums for the US are up to 40% higher than for Canada. Canada's healthcare system isn't perfect, but it offers far more affordable access to care. For families, retirees, or students traveling abroad, that peace of mind is priceless. It may sound small, but this is a deciding factor for millions of middle-class travelers from Europe, Asia, and Latin America. If you're weighing a trip to New York versus Toronto, and one destination comes with higher medical risks and costs, the choice becomes much easier. Tourism trends. The numbers tell the story. Toronto welcomed 28 million visitors in 2024, a record-breaking figure. Vancouver's tourism revenue crossed $14 billion for the first time. Meanwhile, in the US, cities like New York and Los Angeles reported flat or declining tourist numbers. This isn't just a matter of chance. Tour operators are actively reshaping their packages toward Canada, capitalizing on the demand for safe, affordable, and exciting destinations. Influencers on TikTok and Instagram are showcasing Canada's wilderness, festivals, and multicultural cities, branding them as the new hotspots for global travelers. The result is a ripple effect. More visitors, more international exposure, and more global prestige. Canada is becoming the must-see destination of North America, a title once owned exclusively by the United States. Trade and business travel. But this isn't just about leisure travel. Business travelers are shifting north as well. Since 2022, Canada has signed 15 new trade agreements, compared to just 4 for the United States. That matters because global executives follow opportunity, and opportunity follows trade. Canadian airports are less congested, immigration systems are faster, and business-friendly policies encourage partnerships. While U.S. airports are known for delays, long security lines, and unpredictable entry requirements, Canada is marketing itself as a smoother gateway for international business. For multinational companies, it's not just about saving a few hours at customs. It's about sending a message. Canada is seen as a country open for collaboration, while the U.S. is perceived as increasingly closed off. This has a direct impact on business travel, and over time, it reshapes global perceptions of which country is the true hub of North America. Education migration. Perhaps the most powerful shift is happening in education. For over a century, American universities were the dream destination for international students. Harvard, MIT, Stanford, these names carried global prestige. But now, Canada is catching up, and in many ways, overtaking. In 2024, Canada hosted over 1 million foreign students, an all-time high. The US, on the other hand, saw a 7% decline in new international enrollments. The reasons are clear. Canadian tuition is often more affordable, the visa process is simpler, and the pathway to permanent residency is more straightforward. For families investing tens of thousands of dollars in their child's future, Canada offers not just a degree, but a chance at a future life there. The US still offers world-class institutions, but for many, the risks and rejections outweigh the potential rewards. Canada, meanwhile, is branding itself as the land of both education and opportunity. But here's the surprising part. This shift isn't only about visas, safety, or even education. At the heart of this change is money, and how Canada is quietly outmaneuvering the US on trade, currency stability, and long-term economic partnerships. The next section reveals how financial strategies are driving the travel shift no one saw coming. Currency and economic stability. At the heart of global travel decisions lies money. For international tourists, the relative value of their home currency determines whether a vacation is affordable or out of reach. Over the past few years, the US dollar has grown stronger. But instead of attracting travelers, it has made the US a more expensive destination. In 2024, visitors from Europe and Asia reported spending nearly 30% more on basic expenses in the US compared to Canada. From hotel stays in New York City that can exceed $400 a night, to restaurant bills that rival luxury dining elsewhere, America is increasingly seen as overpriced. Canada, meanwhile, offers competitive costs without sacrificing quality. A night in downtown Toronto averages $220, while Vancouver's accommodations, though rising, still remain more affordable than most major U.S. hubs. For global travelers seeking both comfort and value, the Canadian dollar's relative softness against major currencies creates a win-win scenario. The shift is clear. What used to be seen as the cheaper alternative is now being rebranded as the smarter choice. Immigration pathways and family travel. For millions of people, travel isn't just about a short visit. It's the first step toward a longer journey. Canada has capitalized on this desire by offering immigration pathways that are tied to education, work, and even tourism. Through programs like Express Entry and the Provincial Nominee Program, Canada actively converts temporary visitors into permanent residents. For families considering a move abroad, choosing Canada for a study program or an exploratory trip often doubles as a first step toward relocation. The U.S., by contrast, has made immigration more restrictive. Even highly skilled workers face years of uncertainty under the H-1B visa program, and family reunification applications can drag on for a decade or more. Canada's system, while not perfect, is far more transparent and inviting. This difference has ripple effects. When families feel they have a long-term future in one country, they not only visit more often, they encourage friends and relatives to do the same. The result? A self-reinforcing cycle of growth in Canadian travel that the U.S. struggles to replicate. The cultural shift. Travel is not just about affordability or policy, it's about identity. For decades, American culture was the dominant global export Hollywood movies, New York fashion, Silicon Valley tech. But today, the cultural spotlight is shifting. Canada is embracing its identity as a diverse, inclusive, and multicultural society. In Toronto alone, more than 50% of residents were born outside of Canada. Festivals like Caribana, Diwali in Brampton, and Lunar New Year in Vancouver showcase this cultural richness. For global travelers, these events feel welcoming and familiar. The U.S. still has powerful cultural exports, but they are increasingly associated with division rather than unity. International visitors see headlines about political protests, immigration crackdowns, and culture wars. Canada, by contrast, markets itself as a harmonious mosaic, a place where cultures mix rather than clash. That perception is powerful. A country that feels like home to multiple cultures will naturally attract travelers who want to experience safety, belonging, and recognition. Environmental tourism. Another overlooked factor in the travel shift is the environment. The world is becoming more eco-conscious, and travelers are choosing destinations that align with their values. Canada has positioned itself as an ecotourism leader, protecting vast landscapes like Banff National Park, the Canadian Rockies, and the Northern Lights viewing regions. These natural wonders are marketed as once-in-a-lifetime experiences, and they deliver. The U.S. still has incredible national parks, from Yellowstone to Yosemite, but pollution concerns, overcrowding, and rising park entry fees are beginning to tarnish the experience. Canada's strategy has been to preserve the untouched wilderness image, and it resonates. For Gen Z and millennial travelers in particular, eco-friendliness is no longer optional. It's a core factor in their choices. Canada's ability to align with sustainability trends gives it a clear edge. If you found this analysis eye-opening, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into global travel trends. Share this video with someone planning their next trip, because the choice between Canada and the US might be more important than they think.